Okay, so I'm here with Gunny Baksa. You've been working in the field of systemic work already for almost 40 years.
Yes.
So you're the oldest one actually I've been speaking to so far.
Wow.
So congratulations on that one. So the first question I have, like, around the constellations work, there seems to be something about like how to define it, and everyone you're asking it, like, it seems to be one thing we have in common, that we have a hard time in explaining it.
Yes.
So I'm curious in like what constellations work means to you, like personally, and also like how you would actually explain it to someone else. So it's a big question, but
Yeah, that's a really big question. I see it as an approach where we can explore our issues on a different level than the rational and thinking one.
mm-hmm.
So more experiencing something, and then the whole systemic worldview comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was for family constellation work a lot brought out by Bert Hellinger with his kind of working, and also by Virginia Satir with her family reconstruction. So and the difficulty really is how to explain it,
Mm-hmm.
because you bring a structure, an inside structure, an inside image a person has or an organization has, you make it visible.
Mm-hmm.
You can maybe hear about it and you can sense it.
Mm-hmm.
So you bring out what maybe is inside, and you cannot see the structure inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what for me is very different from talking is that you see the structure, that you see relationships, many relationships in the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So words can only verbalize things one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
And in a constellation you see it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a more three-dimensional approach
Mm-hmm.
to something that with words is normally two-dimensional.
Great. So with regards to like there's like quite a big community now, sort of
Yes.
international and constellators and systemic workers, coaches, trainers.
Yeah.
And so I'm quite curious in how you're connected to the field. How connected do you feel? And like you've been around for a while, so
Yeah. In the starting, in the pioneer time, I engaged myself a lot in networking, in being on the board of the former EIG, and then in the founding situations of ISCA, and then the founding situations of Infocion, in developing standards, so, and all this stuff. And so my interest was really to give it a position in the field of psychotherapy, but not only psychotherapy, how to connect again in a deeper level with the world, with nature, with human beings, with animals, with plants, and whatever. And nowadays I did withdraw from most of the organizations, but I still feel very connected. I feel connected with the field. I do not know now all the people who work with it. It's incredible. I mean, in 30 years it really spread out. And the connections in the moment I like a lot is working in other countries. So to really explore, I think I like to explore things, and really to explore how can constellation work contribute to the culture of of different countries. What do you have to be aware of, for example, of not colonizing again?
Yeah.
Yeah. So going to Australia and not colonizing like like the white people still do in Australia or also in China. How can you be in dialogue with the culture and with the people there, that it really contributes to their culture and what they need? And that's in the moment the most interesting part for me in constellation work.
Yeah, so if there's like one thing that you would like to invite other constellators, like maybe starting ones or like already experienced ones, what would you like to invite them to explore more, or like to maybe do a little bit less of? Like if there's something from your perspective, from your position, like what is something that you would say like, okay, maybe that's something to explore together?
To explore together is really to let go of beliefs. Especially by Bert Hellinger, quite many beliefs were manifested and they are still in the field. And sometimes I think, oh, open it, be open, and with your heart, be open with your heart, what is really contributing to something, and when you are imposing something from yourself on the constellation. And sometimes I'm sure I do it too, but this is then my shadow. But this is what I really feel, to encourage the ones who start to learn or to work with constellations to find their own way to facilitate. That is really coming out of the essence of this person, and not so much from outside, oh, you have to do this and that. And in the same time, it's good they train some reps. So it's not that they should not learn the basics, but I think the goal of each one is to find really their own way, where they feel, yeah, that's what I can give to the world.
And so if you look around like in the constellations world, and like there's a lot of going on, you were saying, like it has diversified quite a bit. Like, is there something like in particular that you're like really excited about at the moment, where you see like, oh, this is really like, and this is the last question by the way.
Yes.
Like it's really like, if there's something like you say, oh yeah, wow, that's really like an interesting direction, I feel like.
Yes, I see the direction that I am going in the moment too, how to integrate the very old from indigenous cultures or shamanic culture, how to integrate their healing traditions, and because I think they are incredible. So that is a kind of connecting constellation work with more ritual work. And the other point is how to approach collective themes. Like Jan Jakob for societal themes, collective themes. How can we open, and how do we already open up the constellation field to go beyond family, sometimes to integrate, and also not only collective, the collective dimension, also the universal, or maybe we can say spiritual dimension.
All right. So, thank you, Gudi.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thanks for the interview.